for watching. Here's Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini.
The New York Stock Exchange reopens its trading floor. The NYSE has been in all electronic mode for about 2 months in an effort to reduce the spread of COVID. And we get a
Shut up! Shut up!
We'll also get a report on home prices. Denise Pellegrini,
Holy fuck, man. Fuck off! I'm fucking talking, you piece of shit.
You should know that DuroShed has been installing sheds and pool cabanas in the GTA for over 25 years. And DuroShed has social distancing down to a fine art. DuroShed will arrive in the morning, work outside all day, and before supper time, you'll have a beautiful new garden shed, storage shed, or pool cabana. You can watch from inside. We built your DuroShed outside. Check out our photo galleries at duroshed.ca. That's D-U-R-O shed.ca.
Pizza, I put it out. I don't know if it's supposed to go an hour.
Between serving lunch, teaching, and working
like I got 8 fucking saved fucking startup streams now for no reason other than
RBC Insurance
they
is here
don't
to help
like
you
my
get it. Book an
keywords.
insurance
They don't
check-in at
like what I said at the end of the last video.
rbcinsurance.com/check-in.
I looked at the screen and said, what the fuck is that? And the whole fucking thing
sitting at 21 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International Airport. Remember, the 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee, which we blew. Over the weekend, we gave away some cash. So we've reset the jackpot. We're now sitting at $1,000. For your chance of that cash, head over to 680news.com/contest. For Kate and Lee, I'm Scott Burnett. Have yourself a wonderful morning.
Oh, nobody's ever heard of solid hacking before. Richard, you're carrying on. Yeah, well,
in Toronto.
somebody got caught with like $200 million in Bitcoins in a public library. I'm not there.
Good morning. This is Tuesday, the 26th of May. I'm Asher Ross.
And I'm Veronica Thor. Here's what's making news this hour.
An hour-long search for a missing person in Mississauga turns tragic after a man's body is pulled from the Credit River.
The fallout continues from the weekend crowding at Trinity Bellwoods. Provincial officials decide not to ease public gathering restrictions, and the city's top doctor is out with health advice for parkgoers.
The mayor of Mississauga says there was some reckless behavior in her city over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how many stories I heard.
Do the right thing.
NHL players may be getting back on the ice in the next few weeks as a new postseason format could be coming to the NBA if it's back this summer. Sports at 45. U.S. stock futures rose on coronavirus treatment hopes as Wall Street comes off a long weekend. It's a winning start to the week for Bay Street, with earnings on the way from the Big Bang.
Is it a one-day winning street? Well, is it 2 days or one day? I don't
remember. Traffic and weather together on the ones in which Toronto's most frequent traffic reports.
Fucking watching no day it is.
Hey, good morning, Asher and Veronica. This report brought to you by
Tuesday, May 26th.
So we have all the collector lanes closed now on the westbound 401. We have a collision. It's in the express involving a tractor trailer.
I would be disappointed if you had anything less than a collision.
That's where that is. It's blocking the right lane in the express. The police have just rolled up onto the scene.
Yeah, I can't. I've been sitting here for an hour.
But the collector lanes are completely blocked off here. The tractor trailer is kind of hanging over the barrier into the collector.
I can't do that. It takes 2.5 minutes.
So collectors, you're forced into the express at Nielsen, and you can get back into the collectors at Brindley. That's not really causing a problem. It's just we're really jammed up now as you approach Markham Road in the express here at the scene of this collision. The rest is construction.
Yeah, the people required by law to install
8,000 3 left lanes are blocked off. Slow drive on the eastbound 401 from east to the 404 through to just east of Warden. In the express, you want to be in the collectors through here. It's a very slow drive. You can transfer into the collectors approaching Leslie. Some ramps that are blocked.
They grunt. These assholes grunt. They don't answer
the eastbound 401 closed. Your road ramps, the southbound 400 also blocked off. And then northbound 427 ramp to Highway 7. That's closed as well. 407 ETR is proud to be United Way's first corporate partner in Canada to make a multi-year investment, sending $4 million to help the GTHA recover from COVID-19. Your next report is at 12:41. With the forecast, here's Adam Stiles.
We're going to continue with the summertime heat here across the GTA. Today, a high of 31, humidex value close to 40. Heat warnings in place here across the GTA, and they're going to last into the middle part of the week. We'll look at a partly cloudy sky for the afternoon. Most of the thunderstorm activity should be popping up north of us here in the GTA.
Today, your high temperature near 31.
Yeah, buddy,
and right now in downtown Toronto, a few clouds in the sky. It's 21 degrees and similar conditions at Pearson Airport. 680 News Time, 12:33.
Nothing running in the background on this machine. The RAM just fills up and fills up and fills up, and weird shit starts happening on my screen. Yeah, after Pro Ops. Probably the easiest to hack way into any computer in the world would be to have a fucking Pro Mouse. If I had to guess with a gun to my head in 30 seconds,
and fire crews were
you got an
involved
Apple
in the
peripheral
hours-long
device,
search near
pointing
Old Dairy
device,
Road in
that'll
Mavis.
do it.
Police say his body has now been recovered and
I'm
paramedics were unable to revive him.
I
There's no
don't
one on
care,
how the
means I'm still
male ended up in the
I
river.
know, there's
But
nothing. What do you think, my
investigators say the
banking
incident
information's
does
on his
not appear
box?
to be criminal.
Even if it was, what are you going to do?
680 News
Steal my
Time,
disability
12:34. The
Roger
latest
Cube,
now
go
on
with it.
COVID-19
You
pandemic.
idiots don't even know where to run if you got money.
4 new cases of the
Kill all
virus
your
were
fucking
confirmed
home
across
page.
Ontario
Run to the
on
fucking border.
Monday.
Realize you
And
can't
28
cross.
more
It
deaths were
costs
confirmed as well.
$200,000.
Premier Doug Ford took the time to recommend that anyone who attended that massive gathering at Trinity Bellwoods Park over the weekend is recommended to get tested. However, city and provincial health officials are saying differently. 680's Michelle Mackey has more.
The city's top doctor is advising the thousands of parkgoers to self-monitor for 2 weeks, just hours after Premier Ford called for mass testing. Dr. Eileen DeVilla recommends getting tested only if you develop symptoms. Otherwise, it may be too soon in the incubation period for a test to pick up the virus.
She emphasizes this is the 8th fucking time she said it. This ain't a recording.
Between when somebody
This
might
is a
have been
recording, but she
exposed
keeps
or was
saying it
exposed
again
to
with more
COVID-19
emphasis.
before they actually
said
then
not
start
to
to
get
develop a
tested at
response.
all,
In the wake of the
except
Trinity
maybe
Bellwoods
if.
gathering, along with rising
listening.
COVID-19 cases in the province, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health says he is pressing
Ford
pause
said to
on
go for
easing
this
public
massive
gathering
testing,
restrictions.
and the doctor
Instead,
said
the
not
5-person limit
to.
remains in effect, while
Look
city
at
officials
you.
estimate 10,000 people were at Trinity Bellwoods on Saturday.
We're at
I'm
25,
Michelle
easy. Are you fucking
680 News
retarded?
Time, 12:35. They're growing popular in the U.S., and now Mayor John Tory says the city is considering painted circles in Toronto parks to help with physical distancing.
Oh, little
Tory
West
made
End
the
car. I
comments at a
almost
news
lost it
conference
this morning.
following the large crowds at
Same
Trinity
dickhead
Bellwoods on the weekend.
Oh, there was some people. Small West End park. It's the biggest
from all
fucking
different
park
aspects
in
of
the
the city
city. It's
on how we
special,
can make things better and be better in a position to deal with things like
Oh,
this
no,
if they
the
come
bigger
up
one that's
going
actually
forward in the
normal
nice
park.
weather and generally.
Dolores Park in San Francisco and Domino Park in Brooklyn both have the large white distance circles that have been proved both popular and functional. The city says painted circles will be piloted at Trinity Bellwoods, and if deemed a success, officials will add circles in other parks.
Why
as
is the
pandemic
fucking park
continues.
open? Are you
In the meantime,
retarded?
the city says if
Hey, everybody
residents
exited,
arrive
I
in a
guess.
park
They
that
might
is
as well have
crowded,
there because
they should move to
somewhere else
another
they go,
park.
right? They're not home. They'll
Meantime, Toronto wasn't the only city that saw some bad behavior over the weekend. As 680's Phil Martino tells us, there's plenty of it in Mississauga as well.
Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie says, for the most part, people have been very compliant in her city. We saw very few incidents other than 4 house parties,
Because I said it was stuff around Cap Snake. That's
and
right.
some parking violations. For
That's
the most
you
part,
got them
it
thinking
started
we
this
do
new
shit
trend
everywhere,
of
man.
people
No, we shoot everywhere, man. We don't shit everywhere. I'll shoot you fucking front lawn. Look, air raid. Pop, 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 pop. No, we don't shit on the lawn. What are you talking about? I'll shoot you for shit on the lawn.
Close to 80 people were ticketed at a
go lay on
street
the
racing
lawn.
gathering in
Ladies and gentlemen.
Mississauga over the weekend.
What's
The
wrong
city
with
has
you?
seen a jump in COVID-19 cases, 275 in 72 hours. I'm Phil Martino. 5 business groups are asking the Ontario government to impose a commercial eviction moratorium during the COVID-19 pandemic. In an open letter to Premier Doug Ford, the groups say help is needed for small and medium-sized businesses as the due date for June rent is quickly approaching. The federal and provincial governments announced the Joint Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program last month to help businesses stave off eviction during the pandemic shutdown. The groups say some landlords are not applying for the program, which means businesses will receive no aid at all.
Well, they're going to make the argument that they're going to be better tax.
This is 680 News, all news radio. A handful of provincial MPPs will be returning to the legislature today. Several items will be debated during a shortened question period, including actions to amend the Long-Term Care Homes Act, establishing a minimum standard of daily care, and also to change the number of leaves of absence that workers across this province are entitled to. The session gets underway at 9 o'clock. In the meantime,
I swear to God, I typed that into Google once. Why is my ass
session, calling on the government to take over all unsafe long-term care homes, which is something that a new survey finds many Canadians are in favor of.
Yeah, almost every day we've been hearing about outbreaks, deaths, and other concerns over care at these facilities. And now, a poll from the Angus Reid Institute finds 2/3 of people across the country say government should take over or nationalize them in order to increase the health and safety outcomes for people requiring long-term care. And 1/3 do disagree, though. Currently, long-term care falls under provincial jurisdiction and is not subject to national standards under the Canada Health Act. The National Union of Public and General Employees has requested that the feds extend the law to ensure consistent standards. I'm Rex.
680 News Time, 12:39. With Toronto and the GTA still under a heat warning, the city is opening 6 cooling centers in response for anybody who needs a place to get relief from the heat. However, City of Toronto spokesperson Brad Ross tells 680 News that has been a complicated process given the pandemic, saying strict infection prevention and control measures will be in place at each of the centers.
The network for the time being, at least, because of
why don't we have heated and cooled roads and buildings and shit with products?
We can maintain physical distancing. So there are 6 city locations that will be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Empty office towers with fucking white water.
Wednesday.
Cooling center locations include Lowell Summerson Community Center, Regent Park Community Center, Malvern Community Center Arena, Scarborough Village Community Center Arena, Amesbury Arena, and Domenico DeLuca Community Center.
This is 680 News. A Toronto man is facing over a dozen charges in connection with an incident involving a stolen police cruiser. Officers say just before 8 o'clock Saturday night, they tried to stop a speeding vehicle in the Eastern Avenue in Coxwell area. The car was involved in a collision and crashed into the display window of a store near Queen and Jarvis before bursting into flames. The suspect then managed to get out of that vehicle, jump into a police cruiser that responded to the scene, and fled. According to police, the driver was eventually arrested, but not before he assaulted an officer. A 43-year-old man has been charged with 13 different offenses, including theft of a motor vehicle and assault with a weapon.
So if I'm the author, wasn't that the orgy to me?
Find out what to wear. The best weather reports in the city every 10 minutes on 680 News.
Now the 680 News gas price update. And Info says the price of gas didn't change at midnight, holding at just under 96 cents a liter at most GTA stations.
At BDO Debt Solutions, they know that life is full of unexpected events that can weaken your financial well-being. Many people who come to BDO for help had to go through tough times and take on debt in order to survive. If you're experiencing difficulty, a BDO licensed insolvency trustee can provide a free initial consultation and offer you services over the phone to explain all your debt relief options and help you find a solution that works for you and your family. Call 1-855-BDO-DEBT to book a free over-the-phone consultation.
680 News Time, 12:41. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones with the larger drive here. This report brought to you by Ontario Nurses Association. So we have a crash on the westbound 401 as you approach Markham Road. It's involving a tractor trailer. So in the express now, things are getting back up to speed. They've set up what they need to set up to help clear this collision. As you approach Markham Road, the right lane's blocked off here. So Express is moving well, but the collectors are not. The collectors have been closed, blocked off between Nielsen and Brimley. The collectors are closed for this collision. This tractor trailer's done a number to both the Express and the collectors. But the good news, as you go through this stretch, the Express is up to speed, like I'm saying. Construction is closed in Nielsen ramps to the westbound 401 and also the Markham Road ramps to and from the westbound 401 and the west 401 ramp to McCowan is also blocked off. Dixon to west of the 427, you go down to a single right lane underneath the 427, slight delays as you approach the 427 now. And the ramp off the highway to Highway 25 is closed. 25 ramps to it from the eastbound 401 are also shut down. Northbound Allen ramp to the highway as well, blocked off. Okay, so still slow on the eastbound 401. We have construction that's jamming things up from east of the 404 through to east of Warden in the express. 3 right lanes are closed off, so it's a slow drive through this zone here. You may want to be in the collectors, and you can transfer as you approach Leslie. The eastbound 401 ramp to Meadowvale, that's been shut down for maintenance as well. Southbound 404 ramp to the eastbound 401, that's closed. No access to the south 400 from Aurora Road. This ramp has been blocked off. And the north 427 ramp to Highway 7 is closed. Nurses and healthcare professionals provide the best care possible. Proper protective equipment is essential. The Ontario Nurses Association invites you to support them at nursesno.ona.org. Your next report is at 12:51. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
The heat warnings are going to remain in place until likely Wednesday. We have a daytime high of 31 in the forecast. A humidex today, close to 40. Should be a mix of sun and cloud throughout the afternoon after a sunny start. Any relief from the heat, you got to head closer to the shores of Lake Ontario. That lake breeze should help out. We'll see temperatures as we head throughout the overnight dropping to 19, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, it's going to be a sunny start, a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. A high of 30 in the forecast. But again, both days we should miss out on pop-up thunderstorms here across the GTA. Today, heading up to a high temperature of 31.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we have a partly cloudy sky. It is currently 21 degrees, feeling a bit warmer with the humidity. At Pearson Airport, we have similar conditions, 21, feeling like 23. 680 news time, 12:44.
At Sleep Country, we're real sleep experts, and we're available online or by phone to help you find your best sleep. Because whatever your sleep needs, we're here to listen. Whether you like a hard mattress and your husband likes a soft one, your daughter's back from school and all of a sudden she needs a bedroom, or you need a mattress with more back support, let a real sleep expert match you to a better sleep. Some stores are now open. Visit us online to find a store near you. Sleep well, stay well. Sleep Country.
Insurance companies aren't fooled by television actors pretending to be tough lawyers or law firms that claim to be the best, only to sell your case to others. At Bergmanis Pereira, we built our reputation among peers and in the courtroom where it matters. We offer compassionate and dignified legal representation of accident victims. Our experienced lawyers will handle your case personally and see that you get the compensation you deserve. And our no-fee guarantee means that you don't pay until your case is settled. Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. Time-tested, trial-proven. Visit us at bplawyers.ca.
I don't want nothing proven as trial, bro.
680 News. Just a few clouds in the sky and 21 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good morning. From the 680 News Broadcast Center, I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour.
Toronto, where we shoot shit,
to a more than 6-hour-long search. Peel police say a man is dead after he was pulled from the Credit River in Mississauga. That search began after witnesses saw the man jump into the water and not resurface. Police say the incident is non-criminal in nature. The fallout continues from that massive crowd that gathered at Trinity Bellwoods Park on Saturday. While Premier
Ford white boys are like
anyone
this.
that attended that
Yeah,
gathering
why we don't buy this
for
shit in white boys,
COVID-19.
man.
Toronto's top doctor,
Why do you
Eileen
ever see
Davila,
me buy
is
these?
telling you
About
only
these
to
20
get
years,
tested
don't buy
if you
this
develop
shit.
symptoms, saying otherwise it may be too
Tobacco's
soon
what I
in
want.
the
Everything else
incubation
about the
period
product
for
fucking
tests to
sucks.
actually pick up the virus. And they're popular south of the border. Could
People are
they
fucking
come
mules.
here?
Give me what I'm
Mayor John
fucking
Tory
putting on your
referring
back.
to a
Don't
news
fucking
conference
switch it up
that
halfway
one way
through the
to
trip.
stop large crowds from
Oh,
gathering
we put them
parks
upside
is
down,
to
so you have to
put
touch the
large
mouthpiece
painted
every fucking time.
circles
Why?
so
I'm trying not to
people
touch my
know
mouth,
where
you
and when
fucking
to
almost.
physically distance.
We pack these by hand. Every factory packs them by hand. Handles them by hand.
There's still no timeline or
The
an exact
fuck? What are
date
you
for it,
fucking
but the
doing?
NHL
Oh, you
laid
sealed
out
them
a
up in a fucking
22-page
open
document.
package.
Phase 2 is
They're
part of the
airtight.
return to play protocol.
They're airtight.
As part
These
of it,
things wouldn't
players
dry
will
out
be allowed to
properly.
skate sometime
We
early
get
next
away with
month
this
in groups
expanded
of 6.
tobacco
No
bullshit.
coaches or personnel can be on the ice at the same time. As for when we might
If I
actually see
squeeze
NHL
this,
games,
it
Sportsnet's
goes
Chris
in
Johnson
half.
says,
I think that the easy answer to give them is best case
Oh,
scenario
it's
by the end
normal
of
for a
July.
cigarette to burn in
And
3
a lot has
minutes,
to go
right?
right for that to happen, but I think that that's a reasonable time frame
You know,
based
it
on what
takes
we
me
know
4
today.
fucking
Johnson
cigarettes to
against
smoke
Don
one
Simmons
joint.
said,
What
if the
the
NBA
fuck?
returns, there's a good chance they could be going straight to the postseason and seeding it from 1 to 16, according to
Still
ESPN's
cheaper than
Brian
that league
Windhorst.
run
Windhorst thinks the
sideways.
NBA will cancel the remainder of the regular season and start the playoffs. The Raptors would be the 3rd seed in this format and face Memphis in round number 1. And NBA legend Patrick Ewing is now at home recovering from COVID-19 after spending the last few days in hospital. The 57-year-old announced that he tested positive on Friday. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/funnet.
This is 680 News.
Hi, it's Tony Chapman, host of the podcast Chapman Matters. Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, we're focusing on the heart of the Canadian economy, small businesses. Jennifer Menardo's Stack Shop teaches to compete on premium offering versus price.
For us, it was very important to build a workforce that consists of employees versus contractors.
And to get customers to pay the difference. Stephen Shaw, who is produced for the Rolling Stones and Oprah, says that
Jennifer's model is a one-stop shop. It minimizes our risk. It obviously has a company that takes care of everything from payroll to
I don't know, my
insurance,
nervous
and
system
that's
is
great.
shot. I think you're hitting a weak point. That's all you're doing.
And thanks again to RBC.
Hey, that payphone picks up AM signals. You do the same thing on someone's village. So, you can apply electricity with frogs' legs, and the legs you can't move. The dead frog. Severed, dead legs, dead for days. Electricity go up, they move.
For free. Order your key
I'm
tags
crazy,
today at
paranoid. Everything I just said's true.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. It's 12:49.
How many times I gotta have someone explode in my face?
Temporarily
It
dropping
must
the
be just me.
anti-malaria
Bad luck.
drug that
That's my
U.S.
fault.
President
Not
Donald
my
Trump
fault.
said he was taking from its
Of course
global
he
study
did.
into
You
experimental
can't get rid of me.
COVID-19
You know
treatments.
better.
Last
Try
week,
and
the
get rid of me
president said
because
he
you
is
looked
taking
into it.
hydroxychloroquine.
And a lot of people are taking it. A lot of doctors are taking it. A lot of people swear by it. It's gotten a bad reputation only because I'm promoting it.
The president also said he did not test positive for the coronavirus. The WHO says experts want to take a break and review all the evidence. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus pointed to a report in the medical journal The Lancet.
Among patients receiving the drug, when used alone or with a macro
past few weeks, 97% of Canadians have opted for plastic instead. Ashley Burr from City News has more from BC.
I thought we were going to see a jump on the credit card, but I didn't think it was going to be that massive.
Over the last 4 weeks, half of all transactions in Canada have been paid for with a credit card, and a third with a debit card.
There's nothing to a third with debit. Well, half with credit card.
Some say the change can have negative consequences when it comes to local
cash.
businesses.
How do you know how many transactions are paid in cash? Shut the fuck
in New
up.
Westminster. And despite being closed for 12 weeks, they still had a monthly bill from their credit card company.
We still have to pay that rental fee from the terminal.
Diaz also points out that when you tip a waiter or waitress on a credit card, it still takes a percentage out as a fee to the credit
don't
card
get that
company.
money.
Some owners like Diaz opt to pay
feel
back
so
the
good
tips
about it.
to
Look
the
at the record
staff
that
out of their
proves they
own
paid
wallet.
15%.
In New Westminster, Ashley Burr, City News.
Still to come on 680 News, the city's battle against a pesky invasive insect gets underway later today. But first, it's time for traffic and weather together.
It's not 15 to 30 feet off the ground.
This report is brought to you by 680 News. Gets answers. We have a crash on the westbound 401 that's blocking the collector lanes. You'll be forced into the
Twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French bill wave, you can remind make American cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. The happy to be rich, and I swear, financially, and who we frontin' for. They flying like it's a chaplain. And these bitches couldn't marry a guy. It was a Magdalene. A shot with the little bro, a tagline. It's these instrumentals we got the dragon on. It's roast with beer, class riches, we dragon on. The nigga with the gate and Sega was never dragon on. The Megatron, landing in Lebanon.
Oh. Yeah, we can't control our body temperatures. We can't. We spend so much energy trying to stay warm that the temperature goes up. So when the humidity goes up, we can't sweat enough to keep cool. Yeah, African American soldiers are not supposed to be doing strenuous. Anybody with SickleCell needs that shit. Needs suspicion of that at all. Not supposed to be doing strenuous work in the sun, the heat, nothing.
If you rest your key down, know you'll set me high.
Oh, the army, I say do it, that's what I do. I don't fucking any forces ordered not to follow.
the soldiers is from. Big shots, nigga, rep your block.
This friend is working the sun, he's gonna kill you. Okay.
The bloody north where the soldiers is from.
They didn't finalize all the details of this for me.
Stop yelling if you rep 187. I got niggas in the front ready, get rid of this bitch. You got in the middle just like a
blood. It goes on once an hour.
Bacon and Disney, my niggas lippy and shifty, busy, really, iggy, shiggy. We don't give a wiggy, but really trying to kill the city like crack in the 80s. I'm ready to burn in 80s. My doctor's infected with rabies, not even my father can fit me. You niggas is crazy. Fuck up, fight and learn what these talents do. You can be as cuckoo as you are, I'm unbalanced too. Next to the garden, I'm coming to batter you. Massacre splatter you, run you off of your avenue while I laugh at you. The body trying to live the rest of I'm thinking run away to run you up the district.
If you can smell the my blood, man. You can smell it. I know because I get covered. Big fat bugs. I wake up in the morning. I want to go bite. I'll kill 50 of them. They won't bite you. They're smart enough to know. Not smart enough to know I'm going to kill anyone.
Star City where we blast shots. End of the last block, man mentality.
All these idiots
Feeling cash crops, money growing trees, just turning coke, leaf to crack rock. On the block, hit a key, keep it padlocked. And it's the animals, watch your dog, jealous rats talk. You pack blocks, smoke weed, we here like Sasquatch. Fuck my niggas, know your son and take you out of the sandbox. Better yet, I crash your placement on the black box. See how they train a cocaine, I hit for that fuck me that up. You with more clips, it's for instance, the same equivalent as a bed, dealing the insects, ridiculous. Most cancers sweet like licorice, I eat they food fast, smoke niggas similar to cigarettes. You dig me yet? Bit of cash, give her the ass, I belong to burn the fast, believe you colder than the ink you get. Rep the team, dying on your set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue, the bloody north where the soldiers is from. Rep the team, dying on your set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue, the bloody north where the soldiers is from.
I'm from the city where they keep it bloody. I'm greedy niggas rapping out the city niggas, homie. Checking trees, niggas spinning like gold cheers. All we do is hold cheese, play please. You small time like the little leagues. Pussy niggas bleed when they fuck with me. Turn like a track star when they fuck with me. I fuck shot, but I fuck shots, homie. I pack the hollows for the cops only. It's all real, they call me after still. Beside my after still, I make you feel still in your abs for real. Cook coke like a gourmet chef, perfection. See my throat flow stack up, erection. That's right, and shine me getting love for hoes. Attention, we don't love them hoes. Lazy sport the draw, double crack the mo. Niggas don't want food cause they lack the toast.
Yeah, rep the team, dying on your set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue, the bloody north where the soldiers is from. Rep the team, dying on your set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue, the bloody north where the soldiers is from.
I don't pick locks, I kick boys down and let go shots. Call me hot shot, real life nightmare. And the best I make niggas cry extra tears. No alcohol, no beer. Like Freddy, I'll kill you in your nightmares. Where the cash at? Where the stash at? Fuck around, we gon' find where the girl's at. She's in the strip on the floor like the doormat. Break it back to blue sky, cause she know you whack. Bulldogs, let's believe you thinking of a rap. This ain't fiction, we thinking of a rap. 1 trip, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Bulldog nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. 1 trip, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Bulldog nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. Booyah!
Coming into, no matter what, better window, better door. Yes, speaking in the light for the door, that's a show, cause we know
blasted. Shoot no move, never hit the basket. One bad move, then you get your ass kicked. Yo, I'm not in the mood, so the peach gas. You see the eyes of a wolf, and I hope you see it. Gold all around, so your ass is frozen. Wolf, motherfucker, now you about to get defeated. My bad, too bad, you the one to choose it. I'm gonna be able to give no options. Not more made, but a man on a mission. It's not a good dream, but a bad situation. More like a nightmare, you are addicted. One not two, not three, not four. No, that's the answer to the little. One not two, not three, not four. I hope you not see it. One not two, not three, not four. That's the answer to the little. One not two, not three, not four. I hope you not see it.
Weather forecast is because if you're off by more than 3 degrees, you could win our growing cash jackpot. The 680 News weather guarantee. Enter online at 680news.com. The safety of those around you is more important than ever.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Can be an additional measure you can take to protect others around you. It's important we keep the supply of medical masks for frontline healthcare workers. Canada Mask Supply.ca offers personal, non-medical masks and face shields at reasonable prices. Proudly made in Canada for Canadians. Buy non-medical masks and face shields now at CanadaMaskSupply.ca. Let's check some regional weather conditions across our listening area. In Uxbridge, we have a clear sky. It's 19 degrees. Richmond Hill, clear and 20. Milton, clear and 20 degrees. In Newmarket, it's clear and 20 as well. Caledon, clear, 20 degrees. Hamilton, a clear sky. It's also 20 degrees. And right now in downtown Toronto, we have a few clouds, and it is currently 21 degrees. The humidity making it feel like 23. The News Watch, it never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto, and at that single tone, it is 1 o'clock. Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good morning. This is Tuesday, May 26th. I'm Veronica.
Good morning.
Here's what's making news right now.
After witnesses reported seeing a male jump into the Credit River and now resurface, a body has now been recovered.
After Saturday's crowd at Trinity Bellwoods, provincial health officials have decided to hold off using public gathering restrictions, while Toronto's top doctor issues health advice to the park goers.
Large groups meeting in parking lots and drivers gathering for street racing. The city of Mississauga is beginning to see some disturbing trends during the COVID-19 pandemic.
6 cooling centers are opening across the GTA with a heat warning remaining in effect for the GTA. Phase 2 of the NHL's return to play protocol could happen early next month. Practice facilities would open up and small group workouts would be permitted. 6 players will be. Eyes are on oil as it remains on track for its best month ever, up more than 70%. Phase 3 is coming off a winning start to the week, with earnings on the way today from Scotiabank and National Bank. 680 News Time 101.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good morning, Craig Gear.
Hey, good morning. Here are the biggest problems out there. We have the collectors closed for a stretch because of a collision, and they've taken away a bunch of lanes by this crash as well on the westbound 401. That's causing a slowdown at the Express now. So approaching Markham Road in the Express, 2 right lanes blocked off for this collision involving a tractor trailer. The collectors are closed between Nielsen and Brimley. We have the Markham Road ramps to and from the westbound 401 also shut down. Southbound Allen, northbound Dufferin ramps to the highway also blocked off. The Hurontario ramps as well, and the ramp off the highway to Highway 25. Construction approaching the 427, 3 left lanes are closed off. Still with delays here on the eastbound 401 as you make your way between Victoria Park and east of Warden in the Express. 3 right lanes are closed in the Express, and it is still a slow drive, but it does seem to be getting better. That's the real good news. Most of our delays out there because of construction are slowly improving. It's really this crash on the westbound 401 in the express approaching Markham Road that's jamming things up now. And just a reminder, collectors closed westbound 401 from Nielsen to Brimley. Your next report is at 1:11, and with the forecast, here's Adam Stiles.
The heat warning remains in place here across the city of Toronto. Another warm day today, heading up to a high of 31. Humid value will be close to 40. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms should steer clear of the GTA, likely going to be to our north with the lake breeze boundary. If you want any relief from the heat, you'll need to be closer to the shores of Lake Ontario. Today, a high of 31 in the forecast.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we have a few clouds. It's 21 degrees, and at Pearson Airport, similar conditions. 680 News Time, 103.
It took nearly 6 hours, but Peel police say a body has been recovered from the Credit River. That's near Old Dairy Road in Mavis in Mississauga. 911 callers reported seeing a male go into the water, and he did not come back up. But the first calls came in before 4 o'clock Monday afternoon.
Officers have not released many details, only calling it a tragic accident. Fire crews and an OPP helicopter did assist in the search, which took several hours. There are road closures in the area as the investigation continues.
The city's top doctor wants anyone who was in Trinity Bellwoods Park partying on Saturday to self-monitor for symptoms of COVID-19. And while the Premier earlier called for those same people to get tested immediately, Dr. Davila says it's better to wait. 680's Michelle Mackey details why.
The advice from Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Eileen Davila, to the parkgoers is clear.
It is important that you monitor yourself carefully for COVID-19 symptoms for the next 14 days.
But while Premier Ford is calling for mass testing, Davila says they should only get tested if they have symptoms due to the potential false negative result if a test is done too soon. So why not ask the 10,000 people who gathered at Trinity Bellwood Saturday to self-isolate as a precaution?
The risk is generally lower in an outdoor environment where you're not in a closed space. And the other thing, of course, is that there isn't a clear known exposure to a COVID-19 case.
Meantime, provincial health officials have pulled back on easing public gathering restrictions due to recent COVID-19 case increases and the scene at Trinity Bellwoods. I'm Michelle Mackey.
And it's not just Toronto. The city of Mississauga also had its share of residents behaving badly this past weekend. 680's Phil Martino has more.
Mayor Bonnie Crombie says they're starting to see a concerning trend in Mississauga.
Large groups of young people meeting in parking lots and of our outdoor power malls, our strip malls, and our car washes. And over the weekend, Friday and Saturday evening in particular, our enforcement teams teamed up, law enforcement, along with Peel Regional Police, issued 87 tickets over the 2 nights.
Crombie's urging residents to follow the COVID-19 guidelines for just a few more weeks because she says we don't want to risk the gains that we've made. She adds, for the most part, Mississauga residents have been very compliant. The city has seen a jump in COVID-19 cases, 275 in 72 hours. I'm Phil Martino.
And the scene from Trinity Bellwoods over the weekend has many Torontonians suggesting the city put physical distancing circles in parks similar to those in Brooklyn and San Francisco. The two U.S. cities installed the lawn patterns to bring people their own space that adheres to the physical distancing recommendations. Dolores Park in San Francisco and Domino Park in Brooklyn each have the large white distance circles, and they've both proven popular and functional. Earlier yesterday, Mayor John Tory mentioned them as a potential design option in a press conference, while City Councillor Joe Cressy says they're looking at a number of ways to make physical distancing possible in parks.
680 News Time, 106. Health officials say the steady rise in COVID-19 cases recently could be attributed to an increased number of gatherings over the Mother's Day weekend. Speaking on Monday, Health Minister Christine Elliott said the rise can be traced back to when residents were likely gathering with more than 5 people.
What we're going to see going into towards the end of this week will really be more based on what happened with the opening up of the economy that started last week. And that's where both Dr. Williams and I will be very interested in the numbers. We hope that they will continue to go down.
Premier's own Mother's Day celebrations came under fire after he told reporters two of his daughters who are not members of his household came to his home for a visit on Mother's Day. The fifth straight day, the number of new COVID-19 cases in this province surpassed 400.
The busiest emergency room network in Canada has seen a 56% drop in visits. Dr. Eric Latosky, Chief of Medicine at Trillium Emergency, says people are putting off their much-needed visits to the hospital because they're afraid of catching COVID-19, which makes them more sick than they already were. Latosky also wants people to know that nobody should avoid the ER because they don't want to be a burden on the staff, and adds emergency rooms are clean and safe.
This is 680 News. It is 1:08. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is acknowledging that the safety guidelines to prevent the spread of COVID-19 can be confusing at times, saying public health recommendations can be different depending on where you live. But he says everyone has the responsibility to try to stay 2 meters away from one another and wear a mask in public when physical distancing is not possible, no matter where you live. Meantime, the Prime Minister also said he'll be pushing for provinces to give workers 10 days of paid sick leave per year. That's something the federal NDP has been urging to ensure no one has to choose between coming to work sick and losing income.
680 News Time, 1:08. A heat warning remains in effect for the city of Toronto, and it's expected to last until Wednesday as daytime highs climb above 30 degrees. Monday's daytime high reached 32, and it's slated to reach a low of 19 degrees overnight. Starting today, the city will open 6 cooling central locations that are publicly accessible and air-conditioned for those that need it. And Environment Canada warns extreme heat affects everyone, and to drink plenty of water before feeling thirsty. They also warn to stay in a cold place and never leave pets inside a parked vehicle.
680 News Time, 1:09. After Premier Doug Ford made a public plea to get tested, concern is now growing among immunocompromised patients. One woman with cancer says she was told she had to line up at Mount Sinai Hospital with dozens of other people, some of whom were showing symptoms. Pam Siegel of City News has more.
It's ridiculous. Kara Heitman was diagnosed with breast cancer in February. She finally had a mastectomy 5 weeks ago. But the cancer
once they got it, we put all our medical resources on them.
Her oncologist from Mount Sinai told her she had to be tested for coronavirus before starting the drug treatment.
I asked if I could be tested somewhere other than a COVID testing center. I was told no. I asked if I could go to a different hospital that had a drive-through COVID testing center. I was told no. Now I have the doctors sending me into the belly of the beast.
Ontario's top doctor agrees. Is it reasonable that she should have to line up with the general population?
Their physician who is organizing the surgery would want to have good advice given to their patient of where they could obtain the test in a safe way. Can't comment on this particular one. The details, I think, it is a little bit concerning.
Mount Sinai says in a statement a separate testing area is not necessary, noting they provide hand sanitizers and masks, ensure physical distancing and disinfection.
Trust 680 News for what you need to know on the coronavirus.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day on your radio.
680news.com.
The Radio Player Canada app.
Or ask to play 680 News on your smart speaker.
Now, the 680 News gas price update and process. The price did not change at midnight. It's holding at 95.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. Your traffic and weather reports are next. 680 News Time, 1:10.
Hi, Tom Rokicki here of Inline Fiberglass Windows and Doors. Now, more than ever, it's important we buy Canadian. You'd be surprised as to how many big-name window companies import their windows from cross-border manufacturing plants. Inline Fiberglass proudly engineers and manufactures all our windows right here in the GTA. Canadian-made for a Canadian climate. Visit our showroom, book a virtual consultation, or visit us online at inlinefiberglass.com.
Everyone's getting the whole beans that are fresh and not roasted.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
And it's a slow drive through this collision on the westbound 401 now with this extra lane getting taken away. Approaching Markham Road in the Express, it's the 2 right lanes that are blocked as they deal with this crash involving a tractor trailer. They've got the collectors closed completely from Nielsen to Brinley. You'll be forced into the Express just past Nielsen, and then you can get back into the collectors if you wish at Brinley at the transfer there. But the Express is a slow go right now. as you go through this this crash scene. The good news is it's not terribly backed up. It's just very, very slow going through here. There are ramps that are closed. Let's talk about the eastbound 401 access points that are blocked. Highway 25 ramps to and from. The eastbound 401 are closed. The southbound Huron-Ontario ramp to the east 401 is now blocked off. Northbound Allen ramp to the highway as well. Northbound Morningside and southbound Meadowvale ramps to the east 401 shut down, and the eastbound 401 ramp to Meadowvale, that's also closed. We have the Nielsen ramps to the westbound 401 shut down for maintenance. The Markham ramps to and from the highway, the ramp off the highway to McCowan, that's blocked, and the ramp off the west 401 to Highway 25, still shut down. Aurora Road ramps to the southbound 400 closed. South 404 ramp to the eastbound 401 also blocked. And at the top end of the northbound 427, the ramp to Highway 7 has been shut down for maintenance. Your next report's at 1:21. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
We have summertime heat continuing over the next couple of days. Today, it's a high of 31, a humid index value close to 40. It'll be partly cloudy. Chance of showers and thunderstorms should be to our north. If you want to break from the heat, you'll need to be closer to the shores of Lake Ontario. A little bit of a southerly wind should help out with that. As we head overnight, we're looking at a clear sky at times, partly cloudy, down to 19 degrees during the day tomorrow. A high of 30 in the forecast. Another day with a mix of sun and cloud. But I do think we miss out on another round of pop-up thunderstorms. Today, it's a high of 31 and a humid index value close to 40.
And right now in downtown Toronto, 21 degrees with a few clouds in the sky, and the same at Pearson Airport. 6:80 news time, 1:13.
Have you heard about direct lending? It's more flexible than bank lending without the bank. With tougher regulations after the financial crisis, traditional banks have cut back on lending to homeowners. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, the money that you could use is a simple phone call away. Whether it's home renovations, college tuition, or you just want to pay down taxes, Capital Direct can help. Go direct. Call Capital Direct.
Let the beat rock. Yeah. Hey yo, you know I'm about to go off. Nova Scotian show off. The flows are doper than an Okanagan go off. The homie Brody told me he had a beat. He needed me to flow on. So we formed together like Voltron. Shit so sick, it'll make you wanna throw up. Sicker than a mix of liquor, piss, and coleslaw. So raw, disgusting. Nikolai broke off with the punches and I'm lunging with a bunch of them. Stuff them in your ugly ring for lunch again. A microwave a hungry man until he's fucking dead. Understand? I'm an animal, a baboon, an orangutan with tattoos. Driving up fast foods, my dang-a-lang, hang with me. You're probably catching a couple charges. I'm not the hardest, I'm just an artist who's motherfucking retarded. You wanted to harm me? Don't be dumb. You should have come with an army plus some rum and some drugs ready to party.
Y'all know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or I'm fucked. All I know is this.
You gon' put that shit on like that's the shit.
Cause y'all know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or I'm fucked. All I know is this.
You gon' put my shit on like holy shit.
Yeah. Doing blow until I throw up. Coca in my nose crust. Don't trust Brody when he's smoking that stuff. Me and Christopher the illest for sure. Cause the bitch was in trouble before. Itching to stick my dick in the corpse. Drinking till I'm dizzy, drunk and piss on the floor. Fucking your bitch until the clitoris sore. I'm on a mission for the riches and whores. I bottle of the liquor with some pills I can snort. This the sort of shit I spit for kicks when I'm bored. East Coast rider shit. Weed smoke light a split. We don't like a snitch. Beast mode fire bitch. Depot riding with some heat. So violent. G code silent, jeans go slider past my cheeks, so 90s with a mean cold smile. I'm a G, no lie, I got a bottle of the Keats, and I think I'm gonna drink, so I'm peacing, don't find me.
Y'all know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or I'm fucked. All I know is this.
You gon' put that shit on like that's the shit.
Cause y'all know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or I'm fucked. All I know is this.
You gon' put my shit on like holy shit. Now ain't that some shit? Holy shit.
And you're running gas up, and then that's it.
Yeah, my name is Riley, son. But you know, niggas call me AKA Riley Escobar. You know what I'm saying? Cause I be in the street.
It's too happy. got pneumonia.
of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the Zulus, a native of the school. I got the mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the Zulus, a native of the school. I have a few scruples and most people don't. I'm a crazy little bastard, full-blown criminal, savage with the truth. Well, here I am known, the game that I was shown, I keep to my own. I got an ill temper and a very short fuse. The patience that I got, you don't want me to lose. I'm known to blow up, I'm known for destruction, I'm known for the wicked. The wickedness is from the blood in my veins, and the ways I'll never change. I'm slowly going insane, shit keeps fucking with my brain. I'm lost in the soft scan, find my way out. I'm from a small town and we don't fuck around. You can hate all you want, shit ain't gon' stop me. I'll stop up and down the block, we keep on romping. I'm romping and rolling and romping. This bad boy hustle shit ain't no stop. The mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the schools, a native of the school. I got the mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the schools, a native of the school.
Hour 680 News 123.
Guess it. I'm going back on TV and radio, which has me thinking, can I still work in my traffic?
Check it. Yeah. Don't give me 10 seconds to battle you back, bitch. I'll leave you in a casket, using my lips.
Psychological trauma from a vitamin at the exact same spot.
Rappers keeping it in score. I'ma keep it on lock, my lip locks like a Glock. I pop shots out my tongue and I'ma leave your ass shot. I laceration, drop the throat from the mic cord. You wanna come at me and claim it that you're hardcore. I battle rap and victimize you fucking whack MCs. Don't come at me cause I'm like a venereal disease. Leave you sicking like the clap. Already I got no Rica. You don't wanna fuck with this shit because I'll see you till your deathbed. Off the shit that I said, off the shit that I spit off my head, leaving you a dread, locked like the hairstyle. While I stay so fire with my profile, I mean I lock it up down with my cerebral. For all you and your people been acting like you're so evil, but you ain't bad at all. You need a slap across the jaw for acting roll, cause claiming shit that you ain't ever done before. You're claiming that you got me and gritty and hardcore and roll, but I think that you better hardcore with scare bands, and I don't care that cause I don't really play fair. I'm here to battle you, start a cypher and spark it, or else I'm gonna have to jack you up and rob your pockets, rob your wallet. Don't know what you wanna call it, being a victimized gang, but this team is how we stalled it. We stalled it on the streets and invading the Tell them that the squad's here. Give up on the plan, fam. Every year is all year. Top tier, toe tagging, coke magnum, whole band, and park one of y'all. After somersault of Volkswagen, no bragging. I'm the hottest hopper on the table still. Stock shady dealer, never drops like the cable deal. Play the feeling dash while I jump a trillion hurdles. So we can't share trash cause we run in different circles. Journals full of classics, livers full of greatness. Got so many pictures, how I give some to the neighbors. The realest independents all filled with imitators. Since the Ross Tuck Cross, bro, you dealing with the brain. Hey yo, fuck the hook. Straight bars and still make it sound tight. Ain't about what a real one sound like. Cloud nine rappers hit them with a ground strike. On the one way, we giving them a round play. Well, there's a way, but don't get in the way of my will. Cause if you do, that's the day you get killed. Cause I'm in your grill. Cause the game is for real. Every bar's like a bullet in your brain will get spilled. And the chamber is filled to make the whack retire. They appetizer, let's get this shit rapid fire. This your last reminder. If you pass the wire, blow up your close up. You a massive liar. Assassin tiny, put it up, they kill it up, wait. They softer than a cupcake filling. Tie your ass up to the duct tape, stick it to your face, cause you're fake like some subway shit. Hey yo, fuck a hook, straight bars and still make it sound tight. CRA, what a real one sound like. Cloud nine rappers hit them with a ground strike. On the one way, we giving them a round tonight. Vandal, pick on sweats and chill sandals. Find me leaning on your stupid rail handle. Got them dummy when the whole team shut up. For all doses make a dope kids grow up. It's on me to grow up, but I gotta reach out with it. Joe King knows when the smoke screen go up. Cold nights, rock thermals, I'm nocturnal. Parole like 3 hot pearls, the block's fertile. Hot pearls like SWAT circling crop circles. Shot burrow when a cop's not hot inferno. Crawl through the depths where they won't protect you. Check you with all due respect. I don't
Hey, yo, fuck the hook, straight bars and still make it sound tight. Ain't stuck with a real one sound like. Cloud nine and rap shit with a crown straight. On the one way, we giving them a real flight. Bitch, a lingerie, cruising on my way to Scotland. James Harden, rockin' side, going in, go try to guard him, beg your pardon. T-Gram, fuck the name, God's finest. Everything you drop, Thomas, get your spot behind it. Fiend sniffing and sniffing without a snot signing. I play chairs over ends, leaning like rock climbing. Fuck the clock, shit is over when I stop rhyming. All day I'm shutting down the slot time for pumping. It's bumping, just speed up, pots and jumping. Fuck about my trap, pal, if you ain't copping nothing. Half a bird and gate, probably rocking something. Rocking stuff, knock it on the phantom when the outfit running. The cost of nothing is the most expensive. Approach the trench with my co-defendants, hoping that they know the sentence. My whole squad mostly henchmen, like Jimmy semi-clip full of extension, passing through like it's no defense. Hey yo, fuck the hook, straight bars and still make it sound tight. T-Grams with a real one sound like. Cloud nine and rap shit with a ground straight. On the one way, we giving them a round flight.
Because our team believes no one should have to worry about being disconnected.
Wherever our customers are, we need to do what we can to restore power. Families should feel safe and secure. Being here for our customers is more important than ever.
We believe in keeping our community strong and helping them grow. To help customers in need, we're offering financial relief.
You're all gonna play nice for 30 seconds with a goddamn radio.
If you're thinking of getting a backyard garden shed, you should know that DuroShed has been installing sheds and full cabanas in the GTA for over 25 years. And DuroShed has social distancing down to a fine art. DuroShed will arrive in the morning, work outside all day, and before summertime, you'll have a beautiful new garden shed, storage shed, or pool cabana. You can watch from inside while we build your DuroShed outside. Check out our photo galleries at duroshed.ca. That's DUROshed.ca.
Taking a look at some regional weather conditions this hour. In Kitchener, clear and 19 degrees. In Milton, drizzle and 20 degrees. In Oshawa, mostly cloudy and 18 degrees. In Richmond Hill, clear and 20 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, a clear sky, it's 20 degrees, and the same at Pearson Airport. The news watch never stops. 680 News is CFDR AM Toronto. 680 News time, 1:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good morning. This is Tuesday, the 26th of May. I'm Asher Roth.
And I'm Veronica Thor. Here's what's making news this hour.
Condolences pouring in on social media after a body was pulled from the Credit River in Mississauga late last night.
If extensive messaging and warnings don't make a difference, the city hopes large circles of popular parks will encourage Torontonians to physically distance. The mayor of Mississauga says there was some reckless behavior in her city over the weekend. She's urging residents to do the right thing.
And as temperatures prepare to soar above the 30-degree mark, the city is reopening its cooling centers to help keep us all from overheating.
NHL players may be getting back on the ice in the next few weeks as a new postseason format could be coming to the NBA if it's back this summer. Sports at 45. Scotiabank and National Bank are preparing to kick off earnings for the big banks today. Bay Street's coming off a winning start to the week, while Wall Street's set to begin trading after a long weekend.
680 News time, 1:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, and with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, here is Craig Gear.
And we have some problems out there, some pretty big-time problems. So we have a crash. It's on the westbound 401. So as you approach Markham Road in the Express, 2 right lanes are blocked off here because of this collision. It's involving a tractor trailer, and it jumped the barrier into the collectors. And for that reason, they need to work in the collectors and the collector lanes themselves. They've shut them down from Nielsen over to Brimley. That's where you can get back in, but you're going to get forced into the Express, so it's slow going through here. We have on the northbound 404, they are blocking all lanes just north of Steeles It's going to be rolling into the morning on and off about 15 minutes at a time. But that's where it is now, just north of Steele's. All lanes blocked. It's for construction up ahead at the 407. The rest is really just some lanes that are blocked off, but everything's moving nicely through all the rest of the construction zone. So it's just ramps that we have to deal with. Southbound 404 ramp to the eastbound 401 shut down. North 427 ramp to Highway 7. Those are the two biggest ramp closures this morning. Your next report is at 1:41. Here's a look at the forecast for that.
Sideways how? We're going to continue with this summertime heat here across the GTA today. A high of 31, humid X value close to 40. Heat warnings in place here across the GTA. They're going to last into the middle part of the week. We'll look at a partly cloudy sky for the afternoon. Most of the thunderstorm activity should be popping up north of us here in the GTA. Today, your high temperature near 31.
And right now in downtown Toronto, a clear sky and 20 degrees, the same at Pearson Airport. 680 news time, 1:33.
Police west of the city are calling it a tragic accident. A male believed to be a teenager has been pronounced dead after being pulled from the Credit River in Mississauga. Crews have been searching the river since 4 o'clock Monday afternoon, following reports from witnesses that somebody went into the water.
Police, firefighters, and paramedics attended the scene, and a number of roads were shut down in the area to accommodate the search. Police tell 680 News the incident is non-criminal in nature.
Well, the fallout continues after that massive crowd that gathered at Trinity Bellwoods Park on Saturday. Toronto's top doctor has a message for those that attended as health officials hold off on easing public gathering restrictions as a result. 680's Michelle Mackey has more.
The first piece of advice from Toronto's top doctor to the thousands of parkgoers is to self-monitor for 2 weeks.
It is possible that you may have been exposed to someone who has COVID-19 infection, but with little or no symptoms.
Over the next 14 days, Dr. Eileen Davila also suggests avoiding contact with vulnerable people. Unlike the Premier's call for mass testing, she says you should get tested if you develop symptoms. But before that, you may be in an incubation period.
If the testing is done at the wrong time, you run the risk of actually, getting a negative test, and it's just a test that's simply too soon.
Meantime, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health was ready to ease public gathering restrictions this week until he saw that massive crowd at Trinity Bellwoods and the increase in case numbers over the past few days. I'm Michelle Mackey.
Painted circles in parks, it could happen. The city is exploring the idea of circles painted on grass in Toronto parks, and to encourage physical distancing amid the pandemic. They're known as social distancing circles, and it's gaining significant traction.
The idea of social distancing circles is under active consideration by our staff, as are a host of other matters, and we've asked them to come back with a plan that includes considerations of policing and enforcement. It includes considerations of how you can help people to physically distance themselves in parks and other public spaces.
The large white circles are now in place in parks in at least 2 U.S. cities, namely at Dolores Park in San Francisco and Domino Park in Brooklyn. In a tweet, the city said the circles painted on the grass will be piloted in Trinity Bellwoods Park, and staff will assess how effective they are.
Well, reckless and selfish behavior over the weekend didn't just happen in our city. As 680's Phil Martino tells us, Mississauga is reporting a disturbing new trend as well.
Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie says there are large groups meeting in outdoor mall parking lots. And this weekend, police ticketed close to 80 people at a street racing gathering at a known hotspot in the city. She says it's disappointing.
Here in Mississauga, we saw incidents of house parties and pool parties, and we remind people that it's not safe for people, more than 5 unrelated people, to gather at any one time. And then another concerning trend is groups of young people gathering in their cars at outdoor malls and strip malls, where we see evidence that they're street racing.
Crombie's urging residents to stay local, stay apart, and be responsible. The city of Mississauga has seen a jump in COVID-19 cases, 275 in 72 hours. I'm Phil Martino. And NDP leader Andrea Horvath is calling on the province to take over all nursing homes that have struggled to contain COVID-19 outbreaks. The opposition leader will be joined by one family member who lost a loved one from COVID-19 at Extended Care Guildwood, and a family member who is urgently trying to get their loved one discharged from that long-term care home. 69 residents there have tested positive for the virus, while 27 have died. This comes a day after the province appointed 2 hospitals to take over management of Downsview Long-Term Care Centre in North York and River Glen Haven Nursing Home in Sutton. Horvath will speak at 9:30, just before a handful of MPPs hold an in-person sitting of the legislature, followed by a question period.
680 News Time, 1:37. Premier Doug Ford says the province's testing for COVID-19 will soon be narrowed to some postal codes that are, quote, lighting up like a Christmas tree and need greater attention.
Parts of Peel Region, not all Peel Region, so Peel Region, parts of Toronto, not all of Toronto, and then Windsor, Essex area. Those are some.
According to the latest data from the province, Toronto area public health units account for nearly 65% of Ontario's COVID-19 cases. Doug Ford says the province plans to launch the next steps of its testing strategy in the coming days.
Medical experts say that unless Ontario's plan to ramp up testing is done carefully, such a strategy could create more problems than it solves. Ontario is launching a new plan this week to conduct testing of asymptomatic people in high-risk settings, such as taxi drivers, workers in meat processing and auto plants, and school-aged children. BC's Provincial Health Officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, says, when it comes to asymptomatic testing, it's more important to target specific groups than to test an entire population.
The purpose behind them is to try and make sure that we can.
If you're going to target the indigenous people, then you're going to spread it all over the virus.
That we can get our economy, we can get all of our industries going again.
She adds that one of the main problems with testing a wide swath of people without symptoms is a lack of accuracy that can provide misleading results and occupy vital public health resources.
So how do you get tested if you want to? Well, first you can find one of 12 centers and hospitals and clinics right across the city at toronto.ca/COVID-19. Tini Azdani of City News actually went through the process herself.
No need to book an appointment in advance. Walk-ins are welcome during regular work hours. I lined up at 1:30 and was inside just 15 minutes later. As you enter, you're asked to sanitize your hands and you're provided with a face mask. First, you're asked for basic information.
That's going to help at that point. Yeah, at that point, it's going to help. When people should be working there, people already had this shit. People that don't look like they did something, there should be some sort of protocol for it.
You might possibly be experiencing and goes through what's expected of you if you do test positive and are required to self-isolate. After that, it's time for the nose swab. I was nervous about getting it. I've heard about just how uncomfortable it can be. Here I am just moments after getting the test. Oh, so bad. It was so bad. It was painful because the swab does go deep, and for me specifically, it was in for at least 20 seconds as the nurse tried to find the right spot. That was the entire process. All of it took less than an hour. For City News, I'm Tini Azdani.
And Toronto and the GTA remain under a heat warning in response to the city is opening 6 cooling centers starting at 11 this morning for anyone needing a place to beat the heat. The City of Toronto spokesperson Brad Ross admits it's a little challenging to provide those spaces during a pandemic. Ross adds strict infection prevention and control measures will be in place at each of the centers. To find the locations, you can head over to the City of Toronto website.
We make sure you're the first to know.
680 News.
And now the 680 News gas price update. Info says the price of gas stayed the same at midnight, holding at just under 96 cents a liter.
I'm John Pradesh, president of Human Truck Canada. All of us are doing our best to stop the spread of coronavirus, and we know it hasn't been easy, especially for our frontline workers who are keeping us safe. Thank you to our tireless healthcare workers, everyone in essential services, and you.
I'm not tired. I'm just exhausted.
Helping stop the spread.
No, I know. You've been up for 2 days. You're not tired. No, I'm not. I've been up for 9 days straight on the fucking sideboard. Motherfuckers banging on.
Truck.ca.
Bang on the fucking glass, open the door, shine a flashlight in my eyes, not on my feet, in my eyes. What?
This report is brought to you by Ministry of Personal Injury Lawyers, and we have a collision, and it's closed the collectors, and it's really slow in the express as you go by it. Westbound 401 approaching Markham Road. 2 right lanes are blocked off here. This is a crash involving a tractor trailer, and it's also blocking the collector lanes from Nielsen to Brinley. Brinley, you can slip back into the collectors, but very slow in the express as you come up to this crash. It's been there for a little while, and then hopefully they'll clear it away. Shortly, it looks like they're making some progress doing that. And northbound 404, we had all lanes blocked just north of Steeles, but it's moving again. That construction has been wrapped up. The rest are ramps to deal with. Southbound 404 ramp to the eastbound 401 shut down. North 427 ramp to Highway 7, that's been closed as well. And the Aurora Road ramps to the southbound 400 shut down.
Locked up in the dungeon.
A few ramps here and there on the eastbound and westbound 401. The Nielsen ramps to the west 401 are closed. Markham Road ramps to and from the highway, and the ramp off highway to the county blocked off. The ramps to Highway 25. On the east and westbound 401 shut down. For Ministry of Personal Injury Lawyers, thanks our frontline workers and all of you who have made a contribution in the fight against COVID-19. We're proud to stand by your side during these challenging times, and we'll always be here to support you. Visit them at btlawyers.ca. Your next report is at 1:51. Here's the forecast with Adam Stiles.
The heat warnings are going to remain in place until likely Wednesday. We have a daytime high of 31 in the forecast. A humid X today, close to 40. Should be a mix of sun and clouds throughout the afternoon after a sunny start. Any relief from the heat, you got to head closer to the shores of Lake Ontario. That lake breeze should help out. We'll see temperatures as we head throughout the overnight dropping to 19, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, it's going to be a sunny start, a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. High 30 in the forecast. But again, both days we should miss out on a couple of thunderstorms here across the GTA. Today, heading up to a high temperature of 31.
And right now in downtown Toronto, we have a few clouds in the sky. It's 20 degrees. And at Pearson Airport, similar conditions, also 20 degrees. Although up there is not a cloud in the sky. 680 News Time, 1:43. There's been an unlikely #1 film south of the border for the past 3 weeks, and it's all thanks to the resurgence of the drive-in. You're a very stupid boy. Yeah, the low-budget indie horror flick The Wretched is about a teen living next to a malevolent witch. The filmmakers tell Entertainment Weekly they initially thought it would have to go to video on demand, but physical distance-friendly drive-ins were still operating and were willing to play the flick. This past weekend, it expanded to 45 more outdoor screens, and it has now grossed more than $350,000. It's not your typical big feature at the box office, but quite the incredible feat for a little indie film during a pandemic. Who knew?
First, your disability insurer denies your long-term disability claim, and then your employer threatens to fire you if you don't return to work. Sound familiar? My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability insurer denies your disability claim for any reason, or if your employer threatens to fire you because you're too sick to work, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Hi, Tom Rokiki here of Inline Fiberglass Windows and Doors. Now, more than ever, it's important we buy Canadian. You'd be surprised as to how many big-name window companies import their windows from cross-border manufacturing plants. Inline Fiberglass proudly engineers and manufactures all our windows right here in the GTA. Canadian made for a Canadian climate. Visit our showroom, book a virtual consultation, or visit us online at inlinefiberglass.com.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
A clear sky and 20 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour. Fly high, heaven gained an angel, and you will not be forgotten. Just some of the condolences rolling in online after the body of a male victim was pulled from the Credit River in Mississauga about 6 hours after a search and rescue mission began. Field police are calling the incident a tragic criminal in
nature. NDP leader Andrea Horvath will call on the province to take over all long-term care homes that are struggling to contain COVID-19 outbreaks ahead of today's sitting of the legislature, which will feature just a handful of MPPs and will be followed by an extended question period. And in response to the extensive heat that is in the forecast today, the City of Toronto will be opening 6 cooling centers across the city at 11 o'clock this morning. City spokesperson Brad Ross says even though it will be challenging to open these spaces through the COVID-19 pandemic, strict physical distancing measures will be in place. Time now for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Rob Long.
There's still no timeline or an exact date for it, but the NHL laid out in a 22-page document Phase 2 as part of the return to play protocol. As part of it, players would be allowed to skate sometime early next month in groups of 6. No coaches or personnel can be on the ice at the same time. As for when we might actually see NHL games, Sportsnet's Chris Johnston says,
I think that the easy answer to give them is best case scenario by the end of July. And, a lot has to go right for that to happen, but I think that that's a reasonable time frame based on what we know today.
Johnston against on Tim and Sid. If the NBA returns, there's a good chance they could be going straight to the postseason and seeding it from 1 to 16, according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst. Windhorst thinks the NBA will cancel the remainder of the regular season and start the playoffs. The Raptors would be the 3rd seed in this format and face Memphis in round number 1. And NBA legend Patrick Ewing is now at home recovering from COVID-19 after spending the last few days in hospital. The 57-year-old announced that he tested positive on Friday. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/fun.
This is 680 News.
Asking for help isn't always easy, but getting it should be. At Scotiabank, it's easy to apply for financial relief for you or for your business. You can quickly request a payment deferral online or access other financial support options. Or we can talk together about a personalized plan that will help you both today